Did the last two episodes make you just a little uncomfortable? Good. I hope they did. Because once you start recognizing social conditioning, you're going to see it everywhere. And that initial realization, that awareness can feel unsettling at first. Because then you start to wonder, how much of me is actually mine? And that's a really important question. Because conversations about conditioning can easily become cynical. People start acting as if everything is a manipulation. Well, that might be a little bit of an emotional overcorrection. My goal here is not to make you paranoid. The goal is not about pretending that you can become completely uninfluenced. We are social creatures. We learn socially, we adapt socially, we survive socially. And conditioning is part of that. The question is not whether influence exists. The question is whether you are participating consciously. This can be a game changer. We are extraordinarily good at replacing one operating system with another while convincing ourselves that we've transcended influence entirely. You're going to see this constantly now that you know it exists. People leave one ideology only to become emotionally trapped in another. They reject one authority structure while blindly worshiping a different one. Rebellion alone is not intelligence. Contrarianism is not wisdom. Disagreeing with everything does not make you independent. Guilty. Sometimes it just makes you predictable in a different direction. Real maturity is more nuanced than that. It's the ability to examine influence without it becoming emotionally consuming. This is where working on your emotional intelligence becomes critically important, because emotionally reactive people rarely examine themselves honestly. It's always somebody else. The moment discomfort appears, they defend identity instead of investigating it. But emotionally regulated people, high EI people, can create something incredibly valuable. That pause between reaction and response. It can change behavior. Because inside that pause, awareness is possible. And as we've talked about multiple times, awareness is critical to any meaningful change. More questions become possible. More choices become possible. The good news is that this is a leadership skill that anyone can develop. Inside the discipline of leadership, a new workshop available very soon, I talk about calibration. Because leadership is not a static achievement. It's not something that you arrive at and then you're there. It's an ongoing adjustment process. And that applies to our identity, how we see ourselves too. Because you are never finished. You are constantly adapting. The problem is that many people adapt unconsciously. They drift toward whatever environment is rewarding. And that is dangerous. Especially in modern environments where attention and outrage and performance and status are constantly competing for control. So instead of unconscious adaptation, I want to promote conscious calibration. Something like this. First, observe your reactions. Not just your opinions, although those are important too, but your reactions. What triggers defensiveness or creates fear or desperation for approval? Next, identify what script is running underneath that reaction. Where might have that belief come from? Who reinforced it in your life? And then what behavior does that create? Is it serving you for the good or no? Third, stress test. Stress test your beliefs honestly. Emotion's going to come into it. Try to put that to the side. Try to do it honestly. And finally, choose intention. You're not going to be perfect at this, and that's okay. But we want to be intentional. You become the author of your own life. I think this is one of the healthiest goals that a person can pursue. Becoming the conscious owner of your own life. You're not controlled entirely by reaction or approval or captured by every trend or ideology or outrage that's going on in the news cycle today. You're conscious, you're aware, and you're adaptive. It means that you're becoming intentional enough to choose your responses instead of endlessly outsourcing them to the environment around you. You're never going to eliminate influence from your life. That is neither possible nor desirable, but you can become more aware of the forces that are shaping you. You can pause, you can examine, you can calibrate, you can choose, and over time, those small conscious adjustments begin reshaping your identity itself intentionally. And maybe that is what real freedom actually is. Becoming aware enough to participate consciously in who you want to be.